Hey, welcome back to another episode of JPLTV. My name is Shawana Ebanks, and as usual, there is...
And I'm Stephen Douglas, guys, the resident analyst, here to have some fun this week.
Yeah, we're going to have a lot of fun. How are you doing, Stephen? Did you enjoy the weekend of football?
Yeah, man, it was a great weekend. Obviously, my team got the 3 points, which is important. Strangely, we saw a result there in the North London derby. Arsenal coming out 3-1 winners.
You use the word strange. Why is that strange for Arsenal to defeat their rivals, Tottenham?
When we see the form that Arsenal started out with this season, I don't think a lot of persons saw. Well, Arsenal kind of always beat Tottenham, but the result was a bit overwhelming. 3-1. Yeah. Come on.
It's never how you start. It's always how you finish. Okay?
All right, sure.
So let's get into everything Jamaica Premier League TV. And first, I want to give a big shout out to our sponsors who has made everything possible. Sagicor, JMB Group, Digicel, Yummy, True Shake, Red Stripe, Proven, Mount Pleasant Academy, Kingston 62, Conserve It, St. Mary's Banana Chips, my favorite, Powerade, Burger King, Chemtech, Water, and King Alarm. A big shout out to our sponsors. They've made this season and the upcoming season possible, and we're very happy to have them all on board. Now we're into the semifinals now. Tivoli, they went up against Cavalier. They started with a 4-4-2 formation with the diamond in the middle. What do you think was the reason for that?
Well, that is what's been bringing them some success of late. So I think the coach did the right thing, sticking with familiar faces. We saw he had Morgan starting on the bench again. He went with McCain as the attacking midfielder, who has been pretty impressive. A player that has gone under the radar. I, for one, didn't know much about him until I saw him this season. He went back up top he's been sticking with Gray. He's showing a lot of confidence in that young man. He was the leading goal scorer for them at 1.4 goals, and he was partnered by Barnett. So I think with Trevor Martin in the midfield again, to give them some expansion and a little more width and speed. So the typical thing for a coach, you stick with what's been going well for you. You can't worry too much about your opponent. So I think that was the mindset going into this game for the coach.
And for Cavalier, they had the 3-4-2-1 formation, and they played from high.
Yeah, man. Mr. Speed, yeah, I think you surprised the entire world with this one. We saw Kamoy seems to be a part of the attacking trio. They went 3 at the back. Not something that we see too often. We saw too often this season. But it worked. It worked as a charm. The conditions on the day played a part in the performance. But when you see the way the personnel carried out the duties set out by Mr. Rudolph Speed, who's also, I think he's showing that he's an excellent tactician this season with just a few things that he's done. So definitely the setup surprised me, and I'm pleased with what I saw on the day.
And it worked, apparently. It worked for Cavalier.
Yeah, definitely did. We saw even the goal. Young Colin Anderson, I think it was probably his second touch, and you went on to get the game winner. It shows that your coach did something right, and you just went out and said thanks for the confidence, coach. Let me just finish this one for you. So definitely, all in all, I think the Cavalier team can be pleased with the tactics that they put out. Kamoy seems to proving that he's a utility player, not so much just a centre half, because we've seen him in the midfield this season. We've now seen him playing in a attacking three. We've seen him as a centre half. So definitely, he's just showing that, yeah, I can do this. I think the game plan probably was to say, the Cavaliers wing backs are always, the Tivoli wing backs, always pushing up. So having a player like Simpson there, applying some pressure early from the front, I think it kind of pushed them back. We didn't see the usual expansive game from Flemings and Campbell at left back. So I think that was the mindset going into the game for Speed, and it definitely worked, because if you can nullify a player like Kemar Fleming, you're definitely doing something right.
Now let's look at that Cavalier goal. Excellent counter-attacking football. Yeah, Nick Shea Murray in the midst of it all. Have a look.
Yeah. And then the counter. Anderson came on the park less than a minute before, got by the goalkeeper, and then placed it into an empty net. And that was counter-attacking football at its very best. That was a lovely ball from Nick Shea Murray. And Anderson with the neat finish. Murray quietly doing his work. And Anderson clinical.
What was the goalkeeper doing all the way off his line? What was he doing so far away from his line?
Yeah, man. On a counter, you know, the keeper definitely has to try something to unsettle the attackers. But when even before you see the goalkeeper on the pitch, I wanted to look at the way Murray carried the ball. It's testament to the surface. When you're playing on a good surface, you can be dribbling, just focusing on getting to where you want to go to, not worrying so much about the ball, you know, coming back at you or bubbling up on your foot. So definitely testament to the organizers again for that, for securing this venue. It shows the players can display their talent. Ricochet Murray, a quality player. I think he's an integral part of this Cavalier team. Does not always start, but he's definitely he has a brilliant football mind, and you see there with the attack. Colin Anderson, always been one of the quicker players around, former Calabar High standout. And you see, you dribble, once you get the ball in the space, Anderson will get there. The keeper had to come and try to at least, put in a challenge. Anderson went around him, he settled himself. Definitely, it would have been horrendous if he missed after beating keeper. So, settling himself, and you just coolly pass it into the goal. A lovely goal for Cavalier. Mr. Speed can be proud.
Yes, absolutely. We want to look now at some of the interviews. The man of the match was defender Giovanni Leng, and we'll follow up with the coach's interviews immediately.
I don't think you lost any of the duels that you were in. Was it easier than you expected?
It was a very tough game. You can see the scoreline is 1-0, so it's been close. Rough one, but we get through it.
The clearance you made that contributed to the goal, I think you had started it. I don't think you initially intentionally went to start the attack, but is it pleasing to be a part of that goal in some way?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And hats off to the coach. I guess it's 2 touches he took and scored right after come on. Hats off to our coach.
Okay, well done to you, and all the best in the second leg.
Thank you.
A good defensive display there. We always talk about Cavalier on the front foot, always the attacking side of their game, but today they shut out Tivoli. Coach, 8 shots, only 2 on target. What didn't happen for you in that attacking third today?
Well, as you know, that's an area that we have been struggling all season, and that amount of attempt at goal is low, especially when you're playing against a team that can hurt you at any moment. But I mean, we pushed through the first half. It was very rough for us, and we came out in the second half and we look a better team.
You talk about rough for the first half. Are you now second thinking or guessing about the fact that you didn't make any changes to your starting lineup with the amount of games they played?
No, not at all. If you look at the time that we made the changes, those were time that we gave enough for the players to have expressed themselves and also not to have exhaust themselves too much. But I think the changes were good. And in terms of the gamble that we made with the starting level, it's not one that we're much too concerned. We see enough that we can go into the second leg on a positive note.
We saw a little activity in front of your bench at the end of the game. What took place there?
I don't want to comment on that. I think the referee did what he has to do, and we just have to focus on the second leg.
How do you get back into it now?
We definitely have to score a goal. We saw enough that we feel pleased going in the second leg and confident. Also, we have 4 days before the next game, which is more rest than we got from the last leg of the playoff, and we're going to look to see how best we can use it to get back in this game.
All the best, coach. We'll see.
Man, thanks.
So, Tivoli there on the losing end. Coach Speed did say when you go on a long and beaten run, then the signs are always ominous that that run must come to an end. How pleasing was it for you to end that 9-game unbeaten run from Tivoli?
It wasn't easy, I must tell you, but we always had a plan. Anderson is the fastest player in the Premier League, we know. And with tiring legs, that was the right time we introduced him and we got a break. That's after like a Ricochet Murray, which a lot of people don't understand, that is probably one of our best players. He kept his composure to make that pass, and really that was the difference between both sides.
It's one of those days as a coach that you feel so good about what you have done today. Tell me about Simpson being employed further up the park today. What was the plan behind that?
Yeah, he used to pretend that he was a striker sometime early in his life and a top midfielder. So what we really did was put him up there because we understand that he'll apply some more pressure to the team. Didn't make them pass out very easily. So we actually, force them to making long passes, and we have some very tall players around the back, so we nullify their passing game, They too nullified ours, but that was the reason why Simpson started there.
Okay, coach. Well, it's a perfect day for you. Let's see if you can carry that into the second leg. All the best.
Thank you very much.
So before we take a look at the second semifinal, I want to use this opportunity, Stephen, to get your predictions for the second meeting between Tivoli and Cavalier.
All right, so key to note, we saw where there was made mention of an incident in front of the Tivoli bench. So the goalkeeper for Tivoli, Kiwan Watkins, was ejected after full time. So they will be without an influential player in the second leg. So I think they will be on the back foot being 1-0 down and without one of their more influential players. Because the thing with this Tivoli team, they're, one person wears the band, but there are a lot of leaders on the pitch. So he's one of the leaders, so I think they will miss his presence. So with that being said, with Cavalier already 1-0 up and Tivoli missing key players, I'm going to lean towards Cavalier. Won't say a scoreline, but definitely Cavalier, with the advantage that they have, should be able to get the job done.
Okay. And you're not going to put me on the spot this
No,
time.
I'd love to know. Shawana, come on.
We're just going to
good. Arsenal won this weekend. Come on.
Excuse me?
How do you see it going? Trust me. You should. Your tails are up. So give me a prediction, man. Who do you see coming through as the victor here?
I am torn.
Right.
I'm torn because I am a fan of both teams. There are players on both teams that I really admire, especially since my days working in the schoolboy football scene. And, there are players on both teams who I've mentored. There are players on both teams who I have a good relationship with. Therefore, I plead the fifth. Moving right along, Mount Pleasant versus
Right,
Waterhouse.
I'm going to leave it at that.
So may the best team win, really and truly. May the best
Definitely.
team win. It's a tough one for me personally. So we're just going to move on, and that, Stephen, is why you're the analyst and I'm the host, because I get to put you on the spot.
Right.
Shaquille Bradford, he came through for Waterhouse with a late goal. Talk us through that game.
Yeah, man, definitely big ups to Shaquille Bradford. He now has 6 goals on the season. Former Campadona is standout player.
Yeah.
When you see this young man play, it's a joy, He always gives 110%, always running, always an open option when the midfielders are on the ball. So, yeah, definitely a pro player. I think this game, again, it was a bit tough on the players. The weather conditions, it was a bit hot. So, I think the players really put on a good show, taking in consideration what they had to go through out here. So definitely, hats off to the players first of all. You made it entertaining. We saw. I really don't understand what's going on with Mount Pleasant. They tend to start games really slow. I saw it a couple of times before where they gradually build into the game, but this one they were just behind the 8 ball from the jump. Waterhouse just had constant pressure. We saw when Mount Pleasant had the possession, I think at the end they ended up having the majority possession, which was quite strange. But they had a lot of the ball in their defensive third. We saw sideway passes between Ladale Ritchie and his defensive partner Lane. They just passed it from side to side. You did not see much. The midfield, they started with a midfield 3 of Isaacs, Harvey, and the youngster, who I'm very glad to see coming through, one of the academy graduates, Gary Mills. He was given a start. He was gifted a start in the midfield for that one. We didn't really see any of them coming to collect the ball from the defender. So the defender just had it passing from side to side until Richie decided to pump it longer. It was put out wide to Sule Makala or the other wing back. So it was a strange one on the part of Mount Pleasant.
Yeah. And I want to touch on the goal though. The goalkeeper, he must have been disappointed with his efforts to save that goal.
Yeah, man, definitely. Goalkeeper Shaban Paul, a friend of mine. He's a quality goalkeeper, top notch. I think he was just caught by surprise by the shot. He was caught going down in the motion and he just squeezed between his legs. So he knows his quality. You can't dwell on it too much. It's gone. It's water under the bridge. So it's just to come again for the second leg and give a good performance, give a good showing. He's a quality keeper. Everyone knows that. It was a good strike from the young man as well. To have the audacity to attempt a shot from an angle like that, knowing the quality keeper in the goal. So all around, I won't be too tough on him. Just hats off to Mr. Bradford. That's all I'll say for now.
Yes, hats off to Mr. Bradford, another young player who I had the pleasure of interacting with in schoolboy football as well. It's really great to see all of these young high school footballers stand out now in the Jamaica Premier League as professional players. We're going to take a look at the man of the match interview, Denardo Thomas. He walked away with the man of the match trophy, and then immediately after, we'll hear from the coaches.
Yep.
Good all-round performance from you. Congratulations on being named player of the game. In terms of early in the game, you were under a lot of pressure. We saw you tracking back a lot. Was that just your own initiative, or that was instruction coming from the bench for you to do more defensive work?
Yeah, it's just that the game, the game them start good, so we have to just drop back with them play.
Yeah, only one goal in it. You got a few opportunities yourself. Were you disappointed that you didn't get on the score sheet today?
Well, we have to just come again out of the game.
So you're ready for the next leg?
Ready for the next leg.
Oh, let's see if you put in the same shift or even better the next time around. Good performance from you. All the best.
All right, thank you.
Yes, so Thomas there really didn't score the winning goal today, but really was instrumental in terms of Waterhouse getting what they want. Coach, it appears the team, what we're accustomed to with Mount Pleasant, moving the ball very quickly. We didn't see that a lot in this game. What do you think contributed to that?
Well, I think we had the majority of possession. I don't know, but I think we had the majority of possession, and we had chances to score. But if you don't put your chances away, the game becomes difficult.
With that said, do you feel that you deserved more out of this game?
Yeah, we had a fantastic chance after about an hour, and that would have changed the complexity of the game completely. And it's a shame that we sort of were lax towards the end, but you could see the fighting spirit of us in the last 10 minutes after they scored.
All right, unable to beat Waterhouse so far this season. What are other positive you can take from this game that you think will help you in the second leg?
I think that we were the better side, and if we'd have put our chances away early on, it would have been a different story. So we have one game left to win a football match, 90 minutes to win a football match. So we're well in it, and I'm well confident that we can do it.
Well, you're quite right. There's only one goal in it, so you do have your chances. And what we've seen from Mount Pleasant this season, certainly your chances are still high. All the best in the second leg, Coach. So Mount Pleasant there, losing today by a goal to nil, but Coach Down still believes that his team was the better team today. Do you agree with Coach Downs that his team was the better team today despite the scoreline?
If he thinks so, yes.
Are you in agreement?
If he thinks so. Well, the results speak for itself. It was a very close game. I would agree if he had said that. Very close game.
In terms of your play early in the game, we saw where Mount Pleasant was getting a lot of joy down the channel. What adjustment did you make to thwart that? Because later on we saw that those balls down the channel was not coming from Mount Pleasant again.
Earlier, I didn't think we were in the correct position defending. I think especially the wing backs were a little bit out of position, and we addressed that.
In terms of your team's play and management of the game, it looked like it was a bit too open in the latter stages of the game, like they were looking at second goal. Is that something you would want to address, or you're okay with that?
I would adjust it, but not at this moment. We have another leg in terms of we cannot stop now. We have a next leg, and as you saw, it was a very, very tight game, so we still need some work in terms of how we overall.
How do you approach the next leg? You're a goal up. Do you try and keep what you have, or you go and look for some more?
Next leg speaks for itself. You'll see.
All right, Coach, not wanting to give too much away, but we'll see for sure. And it was a good game from your team. All the best.
All right.
Coach, there's very tight-lipped, huh?
Yeah, man, definitely have to be. The other coach is nearby, so you can't let too much out.
Okay. Now, you had a huge announcement. You had something you want to say?
All right, so it's not so much of a huge announcement, but I'd like to say condolences to the coach of Waterhouse, Mr. Marcel Gale, and the wider Waterhouse community. Coach Gale lost his mother recently, so condolences, Coach. And I know it probably sent ripples throughout the team, so it's added motivation for you guys to go out there and get the cup. And also, I'd like to send out condolences to the family of Miss Jean Nelson, the former Reggae Girls manager, who also sadly passed recently. So condolences to all the loved ones affected by the passings.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much for that, Stephen. This is where we're going to close today's show. It's been on a very sad note, but Stephen, it's good to put this out there. So condolences to Coach Marcel Gale and everyone else in the football fraternity right now. Steven, thanks for hanging out with me. Thanks for hanging out with the fans. Remember, guys, go on YouTube, subscribe to Jamaica Premier League TV, leave your comments, we upload a new video every Tuesday. Also, go over to Instagram, Jamaica Premier League, and follow, we also upload some of the videos over there as well. We want you guys to have a conversation with us starting next week. I'm going to need you guys to start commenting more
Interact
so
with
that
us.
we can be more interactive. I need to be able to interact with the fans and to just get the show a little bit more exciting and a little bit more challenging for Stephen. So thanks for hanging out with Stephen and myself. We'll see you next time. This has been JPLTV. I'm Shawana Ebanks.
I'm Stephen Douglas. So stay safe out here, guys. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
And here another opportunity and the goal. Shaquille Bradford. He doesn't mind those. Through the legs of goalkeeper Paul, who would have been disappointed with that one. But Bradford, he knows how to find the target. And then the counter. Anderson came on the park less than a minute before, got by the goalkeeper, and then placed it into an empty net. And that was counter-attacking football at its very best. That was a lovely ball from Nikashe Murray. And Anderson with the neat finish. Murray quietly doing his work. And Anderson clinical.
What time is it? JPL start, watch your fans, them a trot along. You know how long we are wait for it come along. For all of the action, and we are not kill it at hand. We say for score more goals cause we want see it. And no make nobody tell you say you can't do it. Skillful on the flank and them can't stop it. Man I move fast with the ball, them can't get it. Support your team if you don't want win it. Non-stop action for 90 minutes. Catch the new season. Jamaica Premier League. Bigger, better, and more exciting.